Okay, it's going to be arts and crafts time here on here at Hostile Makeover. I did a little bit of cutting down on that Christmas Village house I bought. Let's see if we can't make this and a couple of other things I picked up into usable terrain. I'm thinking I have to cut this one in layers so that all the floors are accessible for the interior. It's not going to be too difficult. It's just balsa wood. Comes apart easy. But yeah, I took all the Christmassy stuff off just with a razor knife. That's no problem. Other things I'm going to be working on, and I'll show you step by step as I do it. More dollar store stuff. I picked up a little mini birdhouse here, which is going to make a goblin roundhouse. It would work out to about 15-foot diameter, and for the height of a goblin, I'll be able to put 3 floors in it, which is good. And cover that up. I'm just going to use paper to cover everything over. Well, cardboard. But paper to cover up the hole, cut that off. Take the top off of it and maybe put another floor or a loft in there. Yeah, so that'll be a second one. I got these things. These 2 windmill towers, which were $4 a piece or something. Again, they're just cheap balsa wood. Cheap construction, glued together. This one, see, I got options with this one and with this square one too. The goblins in my game world live in roundhouses. So I could leave this as a tower and just separate the floors so that it's accessible at all levels, you know, cut in little holes for staircases. Or I could separate it into 3 separate buildings. I'm not sure which of those I'm going to do yet, but I'll show you as I'm doing it. And that propeller is going to come off of there. Same with this one. I'm not sure what it'll be, but it'll be something. It will be buildings. And they will be fast, easy, and cheap. So we'll get some usable terrain out of it. And that's the main thing. This is supposed to be a birdhouse. I honestly don't see it. But yeah, so that's the plan. Let's see what happens over the next week or so while I'm doing this. Okay, I'll show you when I get started. Okay, so it's taking longer than expected. Peeling this first piece off with just an Alpha knife proved to take about a half an hour and is a little more difficult than I expected. On the upside, I've realized that it's put together with hot glue instead of wood glue. So I'm going to try and use a heat gun to take it apart and see what happens there. Anyway, I'll bring you back when, when I've got all of them taken down to constituent pieces I can work from. Okay, so got everything cut apart. I rescaled the Christmas Village house here, so it will suit small characters. On the interior, I put a second floor, a rough stairway, just crazy glued together, no paint on it yet, so it can be lifted out with a doorway and an entranceway through the small area here. So that can be lifted out, that can be drawn in, and an interior can be put there. And the roof can be lifted off so that the second floor can be played as well. Got to get furniture for that, got to paint it. Taking these apart, I've realized height-wise, I'm going to have to rescale these or put second floors into them. Or they can be stacked as a tower, the square ones and the round ones. So I'm probably going to take a pipe cutter and cut these round ones down and put a second floor in them, which will likely be out of cardboard. These can be used as bases, so we can have an interior in each one, or roofs and second floors on them. This one, I'm going to put a cross in that window. I'm going to cut a door here. So there will be two very small roundhouses, a medium one and a large one. And the roof can actually fit, well, it can't fit this one, but it can fit the other three. As well, these can fit all of them. So we can have interiors and second floors on everything. We have this topper off of the square tower, which could be a fountain, a monument, the top of a building, a statue, just a place. So we've got all this. And altogether, this is still less than 20 bucks. I mean, I bought a tube of crazy glue, and that's it so far. I could buy paint, and it'll still be under 20 bucks. So I'll mark and cut all these to height and see what we come up with. All right, so here's a quick overview of the mess we got going on right now. As you can see, we're getting somewhere with these. I'm cutting these to a reasonable height to scale them for the goblins, gnomes, and halflings who are most likely to live inside these little things. Some of them are going to be multi-story. Because there's enough material that I can make 2 floors. And what I can't do with wood, I'm going to be doing with cardboard for the interiors. Once I get these built, I'm still going to have to find furniture for them and paint them and such, but, well, I may or may not bother with the painting. So let's get set up so you can see what's going on, and I'll start cutting them. So as you can see, as I'm going to show you, you don't need a shop per se to do this kind of thing. You just need a handful of tools and enough space to do the work. If you don't have the right tools, there's no rule that says you can't use the wrong ones differently. But yeah, I'm cutting these at 1.5 inches high, which, for the minis I've got that are supposed to be 3-foot tall creatures, that should be plenty of clearance for a ceiling. Should work out to about a 5-foot ceiling for them, which is great. But I'll cut all these up. I got, 7 of them to cut. Some of them I got to cut more than once. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, a few minutes with the hacksaw and clamp there on our little work board. And we now have, well, once I put either wooden or cardboard floors in between them. I'm probably going to go cardboard with this. But we have multi-story dwellings, scaled for small folk. going to have to make roofs for a couple of them. I'm going to cut, well, the reason I'm going with cardboard is I'm going to cut holes and put staircases in. But yeah, we've got multi-story houses scaled for small folk. Now, considering the penchant I have for, well, goblins in particular, that's why these are all scaled for, but small folk in general, that's why these are scaled not for a full-sized character's mini, but for somebody that's between 3 and 4 feet tall. So these would not really be tall enough to give a fair ceiling to a human, an elf, but be great for goblins, kobolds, that sort of thing. Unless the medium-sized characters don't mind really low ceilings. But yeah, a few minutes of work, well, less than half an hour of work altogether cutting them. And so far, that's all our waste material. That's it. And we can find other uses for those. I don't know what, but they'll be useful for something in terrain. So we have now our little farmhouse for the small folk. Or for big folk as well, I guess. But we got our little farmhouse. We got either two 1-story or 1 2-story roundhouses there. We got a 2-story here because I'm not cutting a door in these rings. That'd be very difficult. I could just cut 2 verticals on that window hole, what I'm using as a window hole, and make that a door. That's easy enough. Yeah. I have to make roofs for them, like this one, but probably on a lower angle, which will, again, be cardboard. So yeah, you can do a lot with a little. And like I said, on this total so far, as far as materials, buying the birdhouses and the decorative towers and the Christmas village house and stuff, buying all that, and one of those little 4 tubes of crazy glue, I have not spent $20 on this yet. So yeah, you can do this. You can do it, and you can do it cheap. Next step is going to be making the cardboard pieces for the floors in between, the stairways, that sort of thing, making the roofs. But that'll be next time. All right, so our next step in the process here, I made the decision, we're going to have 7 buildings. 4 of them are going to be 2-story, 3 of them are going to be 1-story. So that's, should be enough for a small village. A mixed architectural style village. We'll have 4 round houses and 3 square houses. It's all right. But I got bases. I got the building walls. They don't have roofs yet, and they don't have the 2nd stories yet. And, all of them are going to have full 2nd story, or, well, they're going to have a 2nd floor. Some of them will have a 3rd, but they'll all at least have 1 2nd floor inside the roof, like an attic. These 3 will have an attic. The other 4 will have a 2nd story and an attic. So in order to do that, got a bunch of oatmeal and cereal boxes here, and a couple of other boxes down there you can use. Just going to cut them out of cardboard, lay them in place, and see how it looks. Okay, after making a little bit of a mess here, got all the roofs cut. Well, the 2nd floors. Put that over there. Now you'll notice there's no way to get through the 2nd or through the ceiling into the second floor. Each of these will have to be cut to allow for a stairway of some kind. Now, traditionally, roundhouses have a central hearth, so the fire would be right in the center, and a thatched roof on top of it. So what we're going to do is cut these in half. So there will be a loft, more or less, on each one of these. And for these ones, I'm going to pick one wall where the staircase will be, and I'll just cut a little piece off of it to make space, so that player characters and NPCs can go up and down a flight of stairs to get to the second floor. And into the attic as well. Some of these already had a fold on them, so I just kept that fold when I was cutting them. But yeah, I'll do that, set them in, and then show you what it looks like. Okay, so we got a little more mess, a few more bits of scraps of cardboard all over the place, but we've got holes cut. We know where these staircases are going to be. I think in the roundhouses, I'm going to make them ladders instead of staircases so they can just go straight up the wall. That's fine. But there's going to be staircases here. I'm going to fold those out of strips of cardboard and glue them into the sides. The floors here are not going to be glued to the tops of these buildings. They're going to be removable. This is going to be glued to the base. The wall structure is going to be glued to the base. The stairs are going to be glued into the wall itself, so that will be visible and playable. The second floor, will be visible and playable, and a roof will go on top of it. Same for these ones here. It's going to be a little difficult, but I'll do it. So at this point, I'll start gluing things together a little bit, put the stairs in, and show you what they look like after. Okay, I think I'm going to give up for today and bring you back into this tomorrow. So, well, maybe tomorrow. But I'll bring you back when I'm doing after I've done the staircases and I started to assemble things a little. So, if you're enjoying this, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you next time.